We wanted to ask locals in New Zealand to reflect on the mosque attacks in Christchurch on March 15th, 2019. Has this attack been forgotten? Could such a tragedy bring any positives? Did the attacks affect the non-Muslim community? 15 days, 15 videos, marking the 2-year anniversary of the day that shook New Zealand. This is what they had to say.
Anything you want to say to give a message to the Muslim whānau or to the wider community?
Oh, hei whakaaro whakamutunga. Just some thoughts in closing. Hoki au ki tēnā reo wāku tūpuna. Kei konei e tū kai rungi i taku kai pō, kai tua i taku maunga, maunga tautari. He uri e tū tonu, e tū tunu konei, hei tukumihi kia koutou rā. Mō tō koutou ngā kaumahaki, i ngā rā e mahu ake nei, mai tērā tūkinotanga o te tihi, ki nge tihi. Kia hoki au ki tērā ngera whakaaro o ngā mātua tūpuna, kia kia mau, ki te ture te whakapono me te aroha. Ki ngā pani hoki, kia kaha, kia maia, kia manawa nui. Whaia ngā hōkai nuku a rātou mā, o koutou tūpuna hei takahi te mata o te whenua. Whaia tēnā te iti kahurangi, hei taonga tuku mai rātou, kia tātou, mō rātou kei te haramai. Nā reira, tēnei rā te mihi, tēnā koutou, kia ora nā tātou katoa.
If something good come out of there, I think there will be the support the community now is having from media, from the government, so from the community. Kia kaha.
That is not okay and that should not happen, and that everyone is like the same inside, and that everyone should be treated the same, and that was not okay what happened.
Yeah, I say I have many Muslim friends, and yeah, I wish the best to everyone, Muslim and others, inshallah.
I support you, I don't care about your religion or anything. If you're a Muslim, you're still going to be my friend, and it doesn't change the way I view you. Yeah, basically the same.
I think be proud of who you are. You seem to be welcome here. Enjoy this tiny island like the rest of everyone, and please be safe, I'd say.
Kia kaha. Stay strong, well done. You're amazing people and you've done so well to overcome this, and forgiveness is a big thing, and I really, really like that. It's awesome. Well done.
No, I think just to stay with the same belief, I think Muslims are very open-minded and nice to each other. I think more people should look at the life like this. So I think it's a good example for a lot of people.
I guess it was very vocal the few days and weeks after the attack that the rest of New Zealand supports the community, and I just hope that that's still felt 2 years later.
Oh look, for me personally, as managing a luxury property here in Queenstown, my door is always open. We don't judge anyone based on their race, their gender, their religion. We're a very, very diversified hotel and business, and we're basically here to celebrate the art of human connection, which it doesn't matter to us where you're from or who you are. We're here to welcome you at the end of the day. So that's my message. It really doesn't matter for us.
We still have a lot of love, warm greeting to museum, yeah. So be strong and be happy. Yeah, and explore more of New Zealand, of Queenstown.
I'd love to say, diversity is the spice of life. It makes, life is all about people. And so when you surround yourself with diverse characters, you can have experiences that you can never imagine. And I think we all have to understand we're all people. And so, especially to the Muslim community, I'm very sorry that you have had to experience something like this in Christchurch. But know that New Zealand, and the majority of New Zealand, is with you and against such an attack. and we love having you in New Zealand, and we'd love to see more cultures, and I'm happy that there's a mosque coming in Queenstown, am I correct? So that's a great start, yeah.
I'm really sorry that you have had to experience this Islamophobia in New Zealand, but I really hope that in the future we'll progress to the point where that's no longer tolerated, and like hopefully eventually it will die out and everyone will feel safe living here.
Well, post the attack it was probably more that, you know, it really was us, you know, and I couldn't say that more strongly. But I suppose there's also, you know, for me to tell people that the kindest people in the world, and I've travelled quite widely and I've had a myriad of experiences, and the most hospitable and the most generous and the kindest people at my hour of need were Muslim. And I couldn't say that more strongly.
I feel the biggest thing we can do, the biggest service we can do to each other as community is to ask questions. Don't be afraid to sound silly, because I do that quite a bit, but ask the questions. You'll be very surprised to know that people love to respond and talk about their faith and their family. And in my church specifically, a lot of my parishioners feel enlightened now that they have got the courage to ask questions, and we spend a lot of time discussing the intricacies of our faiths. So it should be dialogue, always talking, and not being afraid to look silly. Just ask. That's what I do.
Your architecture is beautiful. Oh my goodness, your art is amazing. I'm a big art fan and a big just fan of big spaces, and the fact that there's a space for spirituality that is so just like, I can't pinpoint it. I'm not educated enough to articulate it, but wow, that's so cool. I came from a very sheltered place, and when hate happens, it opens doors for people who are willing to listen and have the compassion to really sit down and kind of listen and take in the beauty of other cultures.
You are New Zealand, you are us, we are you. Just let's break down barriers, let's live as one, and, you know, let's never let something like this ever come to pass again. Kia kaha. Be strong.
For those still hurting out in the Muslim community, be strong. We're here with you throughout the nation. We know you've had a lot of loss and heartache, but we're here for you. Stand strong. Be proud to be Muslim. For those non-Muslims that are actually seeking more advice and information about Islam, what I say to you is come meet with us. Come to your local mosque. Come speak with us. We're more than happy to talk to you about our values and tell you more about Islam. We're a very open people because we want to share what we know and what we've learnt.
Well, I think what us, the general members of the Muslim community, have to step up is, I'll give you an example. Like after the attack, the Masjid An-Nur been in Christchurch, but I think must be sometime in the 80s, way back in the 80s. But only after the event, there was many just ordinary Kiwis came to the mosque and visit, and they came in and they say, we want to have a look, how the mosque look like, you know, just to have a bit of understanding. So sometimes we have to think, why is after like so many years, and why is only after this incident happened? You know, what have we been doing all this time while we live in this country? We didn't play our part to reach the public members, for them to have gone and say about us, the Muslim, you know. Yeah, so that's a big question. Where were we? one simple way in everyday life to reach public members is just do a simple thing like take part with school activities. You know, maybe get your kids to join a sports team, and then you go on the sideline, talk to the parents, meet them, and slowly you can have good communication with them, good relationship. Maybe then they will start learning who we are. We need to support this movement just by doing that, just by know your neighbors, know your workmate, know your other parents from your school. That's my humble idea.
The words I would say to the Muslim community and the wider community is probably one word really, tolerance. And that's on both sides. For the Kiwi community, the general New Zealander, they know very little about Islam. And quite often a reaction from people that don't know about things is to fear it. You fear it first and then hopefully. So we've got to, as Muslims, we've got to do better in ensuring that there is no fear with our community.
They are totally welcome in New Zealand.
Yeah,
and
completely
they should stay,
welcome in New Zealand.
And they should embrace it and live life how they want to live.
Yeah.
And for every, horrible person, there's also really nice people that are interested in learning about different cultures, different ideas, different ways of love and peace and family and community and
food.
Yeah, exactly. All that kind of music, art,
we
culture,
can learn so
everything.
much.
Like New Zealand is a melting pot of all different types of people, and we need to embrace that rather than
be
cling
divided.
on to this bizarre idea of the past and how things should be and how men should be and how women should be and how that kind of thing. I can't imagine the ripple effects of that and the trauma and feeling like people have forgotten as well.
Yeah.
It's like, it's hard at the time, but it's also the days and weeks after that are almost tougher.
Yeah.
Because you've got to do life and go to work and smile at random people, like that kind of stuff. So, yeah, people haven't forgotten. We haven't forgotten. We won't be forgetting anytime soon.
Yeah.
And I think, it's definitely made me feel like I'd challenge it anywhere now. Maybe in the past I would have sort of been like, oh, not my place, don't want to rock the boat, but I'd go for it now.
There's no time to be passive.
Well, just thinking about how the Christchurch shootings impacted the country, it does remind me a lot of 9/11 in the U.S., and I lived through that, and I remember that whole week was really traumatic for the entire country. It's probably my main thing I would say. It's very shocking when something like that happens in your own country because you don't think terrorism, a lot of people think, including myself at the time, think that terrorism is something that happens in faraway places like the Middle East, like especially like in the U.S. It's something that happens in Beirut or someplace like another place. And when it happens in your own country, it's very shocking. And it's also really impacts your sense of safety in your own country. And also what comes out around that, because when 9/11 happened, there were a lot of rumors flying around very instantly about who did it, and there were unsubstantiated reports. But I think the main thing to realize is that it does change your country a lot, and that's completely normal. It's got to change. It's a trauma that's happened to the country. So my main takeaway from it, or my main words I would say, is to definitely be strong, and it also to see how it opens our eyes to how racism does exist in New Zealand as well as in other places, and to think how we're going to talk about these issues, and also grapple with the reality that the country is very diverse today. It's no longer the country that it was 50 or 60 years ago. We have a lot of different immigrant groups in the country. There's issues that New Zealand has to address, and it's just an opportunity to come together and to think about how we're going to deal with these different issues.
I personally strongly believe that we're all supposed to be one whānau, we're all supposed to be one family and live in unity with each other, even though we do have separate beliefs to each other. I do think we're supposed to respect that and learn from each other's opinions, and to not take those opinions as points that we should declare war to. You know, it's something that we should learn from. So really we've got to step back and really understand we're all unique, we're all different, you know, but at the end, when you step back, we're all human beings, we're all one society living on one planet. And I do really think that if we get to this point and we all have the same mindset, even though we do have different opinions, I don't think there won't be any problems in between our communities. And I do want to say to all our whānau out there that I respect all of yous, and I strongly invite you to, I mean, if you ever see me, just come to me. I mean, I don't mind, I'm an open book. I'm there for you, and I'm sure that a lot more people are going to be there for anyone that views this interview, anyone that's out there in the world. Just know that, you know, we're all supposed to be one whānau, one family, and I really want you to know that, because I think that if we all know that and we all put that to heart, I think we could really start to love each other as a community, and I think we could really do some really good things in this world.
I don't know this has anything to do with but my degree is culture, and what I find and what I want to learn about culture is, because I feel like if we all just understood each other a little bit more, and like our backgrounds, where we came from, why we do things, I feel like we would be more accepting. Like, it literally is just about educating yourself and just being open to learning about different cultures. And if we did that more, and if the world did that more, would actually, like, I feel like would be a much more accepting world. And I feel like in New Zealand, people don't do that enough. Like, because there's such a casual, like, such a false narrative that we are not racist, but we really are because of the casual racism. People just think that it's enough, but it isn't. I feel like we just need to educate ourselves more about different cultures. And honestly, and when you learn about different cultures, you'll see how similar and how different we are. Yeah. I guess you're loved and welcomed, and don't feel like no one's listening, because we are. And slowly, I reckon this world will become, slowly but surely, this world will become better.
Yeah, I just want to start off and say that I'm sorry that it happened. I'm sorry that people had to go through that and experience that, because I would never wish that on anyone. And it really hits home to me because like family and ancestors and stuff who went through injustices like what they went through, and it's really crushing, not just on like a personal level and a family level, but on a whole cultural level. And that's a whole different feel, because once your culture is attacked, a lot of people base their whole life off their culture, what they believe in and their morals. And so when that feels attacked, it's like you're personally attacked and everyone around you is personally attacked. And it's really hard to deal with that. And I sympathize for them, and I hope that they realize that they are so much more than that person who decided to attack them on March 15th, and that they deserve so much better, because everyone in this country has to work together in order to, you know, achieve their goals. And it sucks that one part of that community was just completely destroyed in that one single afternoon, and that affected the entire country. But mostly I want to deeply apologize to those who are affected and send all the possible love that I can give to them.
Definitely, I'd say that they endured a lot. I can't imagine all what agony and pain in which they're feeling right now, and my thoughts and prayers are headed towards them, just like the rest of the sentiments felt from this entire New Zealand population. The world mourns for them. To the victims, I'd say that indeed their lives were lost, but at least they died believing in what they believed in. And it's something that's so sacred and blessed from them. And I do wish them to rest well. And as my Muslim friends have taught me, Assalamu alaikum.
I guess just be kind, honestly. Just, people nowadays aren't open to listening to other people. Because I think racism and Islamophobia stems from just the fear of the other. And it's not until you talk to people and start understanding is where we can actually start solving these issues. It's all about having a conversation, and even if you're scared, you just need to talk, I think, and just have everything out in the open, and just it's not until you speak up. Like if you've got questions, ask them. There's a difference between asking questions to be a dick and asking questions because you genuinely just want to know and understand. And people appreciate it more when you're trying to learn and trying to understand.
I think that that was something that should never have happened. It should never have occurred through anybody's mind. And it's a horrible thing for anybody to experience, but even if you were born here or you moved from overseas, you've moved to New Zealand and this should be your home. You should be welcomed with open arms, which is something that I believe New Zealand should be doing. And I'm sorry that that didn't happen. I hope that from now on, everybody has more educated, that we, maybe even in schools, I'm not sure, but just overall education on this would be a brilliant thing. I definitely feel as if I'm a lot more like protective over people and like at different races and things, and it's a little bit eye-opening. You know, I personally never really thought anything like that would happen. Like I've said, I didn't think that people would feel like that. So for that to happen, it's like, well, what the heck, something needs to change. Obviously, it's different coming from me, but just continue like walking with your head high and focus on yourselves and your love and your family.
Yeah. As much as painful the March 15 was, and losing 51 precious lives was quite painful, and it's going to be there is going to be ongoing grief, and it will take time. The healing process is going to be slow. I think every Muslim responded with, mashallah, with grace. And the way that we carried ourselves as well, I think that even helped to bring others, the 5 million closer to us as well. And I'm very proud of how every single Muslim responded to the, and that's what the real Islam is about. It's about sympathy, it's about understanding others as well. So yeah, Greg is right, and the way that we carried ourselves definitely made an impact and encouraged non-Muslim Kiwis to kind of get closer and get to know us.